Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Since you're already on the interweb, you're already on YouTube, you need to get over to my new YouTube channel. It's called Green's House. Every Monday, I drop new interviews with very interesting people, and I'll put a link to the latest upload in the description box. Make sure you get over there, give it a subscription. I already have over 1,000 subscribers, and it's only been up for a couple weeks, so that is great. But please make sure you get over there, share it, subscribe, all that good shit. I got some bangers. The first two was with Dean Cain. Yes, that Dean Cain. Eric July. So who's the third one going to be? Well, you just going to have to check the description section, boo. But I appreciate your support there. And I wanted to do a video real quick on this new story that's out. The usual suspects are already involved. Of course, you can guess who the lawyer is for the family of the deceased. That's right, the ambulance chaser, the subhuman, usually found in a sewer lawyer, Ben Crump. So you know what that means. There must be a black victim who was killed by the police. So this man gets pulled over by the police in Georgia. And this man's claim to fame, so to speak, is that he was wrongly convicted and served 16 years in prison, and he was released a few years ago. And so he's pulled over by this officer, by the sheriff, because the sheriff says that he passed him doing 100 miles per hour. Red flags everywhere. Number one, why are you driving over 100? I'm not saying there's not a reason. Maybe it's a medical emergency. You got somebody in the car choking on you. Maybe there's a lady in the backseat going, about to have a baby. Why are you doing 100 miles an hour? Why are you passing a police officer, a sheriff, doing 100 miles an hour? So he gets pulled over. The cop is, of course, pissed off because you're taking all these people's lives in your hands for when you drive like a jackass. So the cop is understandably upset. He says, "Get out of the car right now." The dude hops out of the car in an aggressive manner and takes a step toward the cop. Now, those with law enforcement experience, let me know in the comments. Am I naive to this? And I very well could be. But I've thought about this before, especially when you're doing a traffic stop. The car could have tinted windows or whatever. They can see you before you see inside the vehicle in a lot of cases, maybe every time. But I would think, and I'm not passing judgment, I want to know, but I would think if I were a police officer, I would have my gun out already. Now, is there a reason that when doing a traffic stop, cops don't do this? Is it mathematically, is it very unlikely to happen that you would need to draw it so cops don't get out of the car like that every time? Do you not want to strike fear in the citizen that you're pulling over with your gun out? You know, that I would think of a cop's walking up to my car with a gun that this is pretty serious. Is that why? And why did this cop not draw his gun when he did that? Some people might say, well, you can get in a whole lot of trouble if you're a white cop and you have a bad encounter with a black person. Even if you did nothing wrong, that could mean your career, that could mean your freedom. So some might say that's the reason the officer was slow to escalate the force he decided to use. The guy hopping out of the truck like that, you've already escalated the situation. You're moving in an aggressive manner, and who in the fuck jumps out of their vehicle when they get pulled over by the police? So the cop's giving the guy commands, and he tells the cop, and of course, I will put a link to all of this in the description box so you can see it yourself with your own ocular stems. He tells the cop, I ain't doing shit. So when a man is telling you, he's standing in an aggressive posture and he tells you, I ain't doing shit. Some might call that a line in the sand. That's like saying, I'm not doing shit. What are you going to do about it? What's the next step? We got to take it to the next level because I'm not obeying your orders. So we're done with this level. Let's escalate the situation, shall we? So he tells the cop, I ain't doing shit. He tells him, turn around, I'm going to arrest you. He says, you can't arrest me. Why are you going to arrest me? It's a traffic violation. He says, I'm going to arrest you because, number one, in the state of Georgia, traffic violations are crimes. And because you were driving more than 100 miles an hour. I know in California, if you're pulled over doing 90 or more, they can impound your vehicle. Reckless driving, reckless endangerment. There's a laundry list of reasons this cop should send your ass to fucking jail. Because you're driving at over 100 miles an hour for nothing. We've all been on the road and some jackass comes flying by at a high rate of speed. You're going to kill somebody. So he says, for whatever reason, I'm not obeying what you do. I'm not going to put my hands behind my back. You're not taking me anywhere. So the officer deploys his taser. And apparently the taser didn't hit where it was supposed to, because you can hear the taser going off, but this guy is not stiffening up and falling on the ground like we've seen people do when they get hit with that taser. So the guy's just standing there. The taser's not working. So then the cop grabs his baton. I don't know why the cop didn't grab his gun, because the taser's not working. We're going to have to make your lead content go up, because I'm popping all kinds of caps in your ass. So they start tussling. The guy has his hands on the cop's throat. He's choking him. The guy's driving a pickup truck. He has the cop's head bent over backwards over the edge of the bed. The cop's head is in the bed of the truck. He's choking the shit out of him. Then the guy says to the cop, yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. Says it twice. What's this cop supposed to think? Well, I better reach for the cuffs and try to arrest this guy again. No, he's clearly shown that I want to kill you, because as we all know, one of the ways to kill somebody is to wrap your hands around their throat tightly. I would go out on a limb and say that's one of the oldest ways to kill somebody. So the cop pulls his weapon, finally pulls his firearm, hits the guy underneath his armpit. So the bullet probably went in his heart, and the dude is dead on the side of the road. Speaking of being on the side of the road, this dude was as big or bigger than the cop. He could have pushed him into traffic. Oncoming car could have splattered that cop everywhere. So again, somebody let me know, why do cops not get out of the vehicle with their gun drawn? Why do you think maybe that cop in that particular situation didn't get out with his gun drawn, especially when the guy hops out of the truck and takes a step toward him? Now, I've never been a police officer. I've never been in that situation, but I have to believe, knowing myself as well as I do, that I probably would have pulled my gun at that point. But of course, he was what? That's right, say it. Say the term that makes slimy ass lawyers like Ben Crump wet at night. Say the term that makes their little pink lipstick come out. You know, like when you scratch a dog in the right spot, that pink weird looking dick of theirs comes out. What's the term that makes all of these race pimping, race baiting pieces of shit moist? What brings them to climax? What makes Al Sharptongue's sickly, emaciated, crusty, old, look like he died 2 months ago? What makes him jizz his slacks? That the dead person in this story was an unarmed black man. Oh, I can feel the shivers going through my body. He was an unarmed black man. He didn't have a gun, because basically that's what they think. If you don't have a gun, then you're unarmed. Like a gun is the only way to kill somebody. If you don't use a gun, you cannot kill another human being. It's the laws of nature according to them. Not that this dude was going to choke the fucking officer to death, because nobody's murdered like that anymore. Nobody gets choked to death. It's all guns. It's guns or nothing. So because he was an unarmed black man, the officer was in the wrong. He needs to be fired. And most importantly, the city needs to pay. So now all of his family members are going to come out and they're going to talk about, oh, he was wrongly convicted and is 16 years in jail. But I guess that gives you carte blanche to choke people to death because you were in prison and you shouldn't have been. Oh, you hear that? That's that California infrastructure right there, all bumpy and shit. But they're all going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to tell you what a great man he was and how he never hurt anybody and how what's their favorite thing to say? His smile would light up the room. And they're going to show a picture of him from 1984 when he was 6 years old and he was going to his promotion ceremony. He had his little blue cap and gown on. Like that's who the cop shot. Like the cop shot a 6-year-old black child who was graduating. Same old bullshit. Different name. This is what they do. Ben Crump is licking his chops, waiting for this city or this county to cut them a check. His family is waiting to get a check. This is a lottery. Damn, at the no longer do we have the days of at the end of the news broadcast, they had that little thing where the numbers would come down in that little slot on those little ping pong balls. No, that's not the lottery anymore, at least not for black folks. Now, if you're black and you want to hit the lottery, just have a family member get killed by the police. You're guaranteed at least $5 million. If it's a high enough profile case, we can get into the tens of millions. You know, George Floyd's family's wishing he had a twin. They're like, man, I wish we could do this shit again. I wish another family member of ours could get killed in the custody of the police. We could get paid again. Shit. So chances are, maybe since it's the South and we don't play that bullshit down here, brother, maybe they won't cut him a check. But chances are, to sidestep any bullshit, any bad publicity, the city or the county, because the officer was a sheriff, is going to cut this family a damn check. For what? Talk about a justified shoot. The guy was choking the officer to death, saying, yeah, bitch, yeah, bitch. What was a police officer supposed to do? Some self-defense shit on how to get out of somebody choking you move? Was he supposed to try to work his fingers under the assailant's grip? Fuck that. You have to understand that if you choke a police officer, you're going to get shot. And I know as a normal citizen who's not in law enforcement, if I have a gun on my hip and somebody's choking me, they're going to get shot. But this is their wet dream, a white officer and a black victim. Somebody get me a cigarette and a towel so I can wipe up all this jizz. Man, I do not like this new world. Can you imagine living in a society where police need to act the way that they want them to act? That you can have somebody choking you to death, but you weren't supposed to shoot them? What were you supposed to do? Oh, I know what they want the officer to do. They want the officer to try to spit in his hand. Maybe give him a vigorous hand job and he'll let you go, officer. But pulling your firearm, that was wrong. You have two options in that scenario, officer. You can either give that person a hand job or let them kill you. That's all you're allowed to do, officer. You should have let that man kill you. Stupid ass shit. Meet me in the comments. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Make sure you check out my new channel, Green's House. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. Hit the Teespring link to get some merch. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.